very good morning to everybody, to all the students who have joined us today morning from IIIT Vadodara, and it gives me a great pleasure to be amidst all of you. Um, if because of the error of technology, if there is a sound difficulty anytime you face, please excuse us. However, I will try my best that I will give you certain very important sutras and very important stories and the motivational tips and motivational wisdom today, which I'm going to speak to all of you. And I hope to make it very interesting and very interactive as well. So therefore, you will also have certain Google forms which I have created for interactions, etc. in between, which I will do. It gives me always, this has been my ambition in my life from practically my teenage to interact with people and to give them, certain motivation. So as I said, I dedicated a lot of my time to study the scriptures, literatures, people in general and life in particular, to understand that what is that which motivates people. How can the people bring out their best, not only in terms of productivity, but also in terms of their own nature and character and qualities, both. So both assist each other. Actually, if you have good character, you also can have good productivity for sustainable period. So this has been my very particular interest in life, that how to make things sustainable in life. So we can have a short spur of enthusiasm. Like speaking about enthusiasm and motivation, I'm sure that whenever you go to a new school, I mean, most of us would have seen this in our own life, that you would have gone to a new school, or when you are promoted to a new class, let's say from 5th standard, you have come to the 6th standard. The school has just reopened after summer holidays, and the new textbooks have arrived, and you have your new notebooks, and sometimes even the new teachers, and sometimes you have a new school also. Or you have probably the first year when you came into IIIT Vadodara. We all can see that there is a surge of enthusiasm and motivation in us, isn't it? Everything new seems to be very interesting, and we start feeling immediately motivated towards doing something wonderful. How many of you have observed this in you, that when there is something new, you feel a surge of enthusiasm? Please, you can say on your chat box, you can say yes if you relate with what I'm speaking. Yeah. Okay, so that's thank you for your response. There's quite a lot of you. We can observe that we all have this sense of motivation or enthusiasm to do something, specifically when there is something new. Like I remember when I used to be promoted from one standard to another standard, and the new books would be coming in. I would be seeing, wow, different pictures and different subjects, and let's have some. We start our notebook and we start the first page with very good handwriting. Sometimes we have different faiths, so some people say Om, they write their Om over there, the lucky symbol or something, or whatever. So we have that enthusiasm. But how many of you also observed that we do not carry the same motivation and same enthusiasm all throughout our semester or all throughout our academic year, right? Just after some time, suddenly something happens and we just, lose, the newness just gets lost. And we are back there and we are sometimes feeling, oh my God, I have to go to college. Oh, I have to go to school. Oh, not the same teacher again. How many of you have that experience? Please type yes if you have it. Yes, do you have that experience? Okay, yeah, okay. Yes, you do. Thank you. So that's what actually we are all up to, that motivation has to continue for long. That's why the title which I give to my program today is called as endless motivation, right? That motivation which is not going to stop with time. It's not going to remain just for a short period, but it should remain for a very long period. What is the sutra behind remaining motivated always? Specifically, remaining motivated during the troubled times, during the uncertain times, and during the difficult times. Specifically, I want to relate it with the present situation which all of us are in. We have this situation of COVID-19 which has affected the whole world. And I'm sure that the academic industry, I mean, the colleges and schools and education sector has very drastically got affected by this COVID situation. I'm sure in many times in your own life, in the last few months, you would have got this uncertainty about your future. I'm sure. I mean, I've been speaking to a lot of students, a lot of children, a lot of teenagers, and a lot of even different college students. So I have seen this. In general, people have become uncertain about what's going to happen in future now. We don't know that because it seems to be a very different situation than the world has ever seen. Such kind of lockdown, which was implemented for a long time, months together, seems to be breaking down the economy and seems to be giving us the basic questions which we have never ever come across. So one of the basic questions is what motivates a person for a long time, right? And we are going to explore this topic, dear students, together. I will not just speak with you, I rather involve you in my presentation because I don't want to just speak and become the sage of the stage, as they say, right? The sage of the stage. Rather, I would like to teach you by involving you because I believe that many of you already have a lot of potential within, and I just need to help you a little bit to just bring it to the surface. Let me take you on a journey of this endless motivation. So, this is the question which I want to begin with. This is our topic. I'm going to talk about endless motivation, as I said, motivation which lasts for a very long time, or you could say endlessly. Let me tell you, this is one thing which you can do. Whenever you are very much worried, write down what you are worried about. Because I'll tell you, 50% of our worries are basically our imaginations. Let me tell you this, please. If you want to write something down from my today's program, I'll give you some 4 or 5 most important sutras, and you can write this one down. And what is it? That 50% of our worries, or probably even more, are simply our imaginations. Please write it down somewhere so that whenever next time you are worried, you are going to read that. 50% of worries are more than, what is it? It's an imagination only. So if you write it down, merely writing it down gives you a feeling of, yeah, I know what I'm worried about. Isn't it? I'm sure that you wrote your worry or whatever difficulty you're facing down, it would have made you given a feeling of relaxation, isn't it? It won't evaporate your problem, but the fact that when you know your problem, you also feel a feeling of I can solve it now. Because what was happening previously, the worry is so much in the mind that you can't think clearly about solving the problem also. So that's why I say, whenever you are worried, take out a notebook and a pen, or maybe a laptop or a mobile or whatever, and just write your thoughts down. What am I worried about? What is the uncertain thing which is troubling me? Just write it down. I'm telling you, 50% of the problem is in knowing the problem. 50% of the solution is in knowing the problem, right? So thank you. I mean, that's why I made you write it down. I'll now go further in my presentation, and I'm going to tell you a story right now. And with the help of the story, you're going to learn about mental health and mental well-being, and basically about what is real peace. I am going to tell you some harsh realities of this world, dear friend. I have a lot of desire that all of you be successful, but I also have to make you aware about the realities of this world. See, dear friend, I'll tell you this. From life, one thing which I have learned is, till our teenage, which most of you are in, you're just going into adulthood. Some of you are maybe 18, some of you are 20, just early, adulthood. Till this age, especially in India, most children are unaware about realities of the world. And they have been in so much safe and secure environment of the home, so much safe and secure, environment created by the loving parents. You do not have any financial worries up till now. You do not have anything to, your father and mother just gives you what you need, right? So, you've not faced the realities of the world. So when a person has not faced the realities of the world and certain thing goes wrong suddenly, they start panicking a lot because they don't have experience of handling real life problems. So COVID is basically wanting all of us to become more mature. This COVID problem basically can be seen as an opportunity towards becoming more mature. And I would say that maybe you will have to take up responsibilities in life a little early on than you would have done in normal situations, which I feel is very good. I have studied the Vedic texts quite a lot, and believe me, in the Vedic education system, this was not the way the children were actually educated. Children were educated in a real life environment rather than merely in the closed wall school teaching environment. Right? It was a real life environment. They were supposed to face challenges, real life challenges, while their academic progression was going on. So this would prepare a child by the age of 15 to face and handle the real life challenges, which in our present education system, especially in India, there is Finland, which is doing quite a good things. Some other countries are doing, but in India, our education, whatever reasons, I don't want to go into politics, but our education has not been preparing children for real life situations. So, dear friend, there is nothing to panic. There is nothing to worry about. Believe me, all of you are very blessed and fortunate. You are in such a good college like IIIT, and your future is bright. You can rest assured. I meet children and students from so many colleges, etc. Actually, even they can do quite a lot. So, what to speak of all of you? You are blessed by God to get an opportunity of being in IIIT, which is a very good college. And believe me, your professors, there's so many others are actually so much worried about your future, and they're really going to help you a lot. That's what I was talking to Dr. Rajay in the beginning, that you have a close-knit family environment where the faculty and the student can interact quite a lot, which does not happen in huge colleges. We have 5,000, 6,000 students. Coming back to the point that worries, most of them are imaginations. So let me talk about what is real peace. Okay, what is real peace? I'll talk about it in my presentation. Come back along with me. Let's begin. Yeah. So this is the story of just before that. Okay, just before that, telling the uncertainties of life is what you need to actually understand. Reality of the world is that there will be uncertainties. You cannot avoid uncertainties. It's just because you have never faced the real life till now, because you are in very safe and protected environment of your home, or of you never had to do anything financially for yourself. You never had to worry so much about real things in life. So therefore, what has happened is you are just now getting prepared to look at how to handle responsibilities and uncertainties in life. So therefore, we can learn it. Uncertainty is not optional. No matter whether COVID goes away, whether whatever happens, uncertainty is not something which you have a choice about. What you do have a choice about is, you have a choice about worrying or making a wise choice. Right? Instead of worrying, I want to tell you how to make wise choices in life. This is my presentation. Okay? Instead of worrying, you can make wise choices. That's where your choice is. Let's see. So this was a king. There was a king who was a lover of art, and therefore he announced one day that I want a painting to be shown to me. I want to give this assignment to all the painters in my kingdom, that tell me what is the picture of real peace. I want to have a painting which signifies real peace. And it was a huge sum of amount he actually declared for the people, for the painters. Whoever will bring me the painting and I will like it the most, and it will be the best painting for depicting real peace, I'll give them a huge sum of money. And so many people, so many painters, they started painting, and dozens and dozens of painting came into the court of the king. And after a while, when a lot of paintings were assembled, he was witnessing each and every painting. Different paintings showed what is real peace. What I'm going to tell you, dear friends, is going to shock you. And please be ready for the shock. A placid, tranquil, serene lake in such an atmosphere, surrounded by the peaks of the hills, when the rising sun is there. It's such a peaceful situation. And it was quite impressive. And people were thinking, everybody in the court was thinking this will be the first prize. But the king did not select it. Then came the second painting, or rather second of the selected paintings. And this is another beautiful river, which is so placid, which is so cool, which is so serene, which is surrounded again by these mountains. And this was the one which will be winning the prize. He will choose it. And then later on, king came to another painting, which is this one. He started observing it. He started looking at it. He started seeing it in details, magnifying and seeing, oh, what's this? And everybody was wondering, while the king was looking at this, everybody was wondering, is it peace? Is the person who drew, probably, the painter did not know what is he drawing. Is he drawing a storm scene or is he drawing a peace scene? Seems like the sky is really angry and there is thundering in the sky and there is a flood sort of a situation. The bridge is breaking and the rivers are flowing and it's just a storm. How can it be peaceful, right? And after a while of looking at all the other paintings, the king came back to this painting and declared this painting to be the winner. And everybody was surprised and feeling, what? And then they asked the king, why? Why did you choose this particular painting as the painting which depicts real peace? He said, wait. Yes, there is a storm right there, but I see something which I feel is real peace in this. And everybody was wanting, please tell us, what is it? Why do you select this painting? And the king said, I select this painting because of this. You see, if you magnify this painting, dear friends, I don't know if you are able to see it fully, if you are seeing it in a small screen. What I want to show you is just in the middle of this painting, you see that small patch, which I magnified for you on the right hand side, right? There is a nest which is there. And inside that nest, there is a mother bird which is sitting. And besides the mother bird, there are two baby birds which are sleeping very peacefully as if nothing is going wrong, around them. The mother is very peaceful. The mother is very tranquil. The mother is very calm. And the two children are also peacefully sleeping right amidst a great storm which is all around. There seems to be the water which is gushing nearby, but nothing is happening to the nest. There seems to be wind which is blowing, but nothing is happening to the nest. There seems to be thundering in the sky, but nothing is happening to the nest. And the mother and the two children are totally safe and secure and are in total peace. And the king said, for me, this is the real definition of peace. And he gave the first prize. Then the king called the painter and he asked, how could you draw this wonderful painting which shows the real peace? And then the painter spoke his own story. That was very interesting. Dear friends, please take note of this, what I'm going to speak to you. Please. This can really be something of great help to you. So the painter replied, my dear king, every day when I am painting on my canvas, all around me, I am filled up in a particular environment where there are so many people who are just speaking and loud volumes of sounds they are making, and there is an iron shop nearby which there is cutting, they're cutting the iron, and there is so much of sound. There are children which are crying and which are loitering on the street and playing different games, etc. I do not have a very good place to actually paint. I daily paint surrounded by such situations. And therefore, for me, when you asked us to paint what is real peace, I felt the real peace is something which is within. The real peace is not something which is outside. Outside, there could be peaceful situation, but if your mind is troubling you, dear friends, you will be totally unrest, right? Whereas if you have learned to harness this real peace, which is actually a state of heart, which is a state of consciousness, which is a state of attitude, right? If you have learned to harness that, it does not matter how much difficulties are there around you. That is very, very important. Real peace is not to be sought outside. Real peace, we have to seek inside our heart. Troubles, uncertainties, difficulties, all of that is a reality of life. Amidst all this reality of life, how do you keep yourself peaceful is very critical and very important. And this is what the teachings of the Indian scriptures has been. Do not think about a comfortable situation in life. Think about amidst all what is going to go on, how will I make a contribution to help others in life? Dear friends, this is a very, very important thing. Did you like this story and did you learn the lesson which I'm trying to teach you? That the real peace is not to be sought outside. The real peace is actually within. It's our attitude, it's our value system, which I'm going to teach you in some time now. So let me talk about this real peace in my further discussion. up till now made you aware that you cannot probably change a lot of external situations around you. The bird, the nest inside the two children inside the nest and the bird could not change the situation outside a lot. That's not something which is 90% of life. External situations are not in our control. But one thing we do have control. How will we respond to it? Whether we'll panic or we'll be wise. We'll be making our choices wisely. Let me tell you now that how can you stay motivated forever? Because this is going to be something internally driven, not externally driven. If your motivation comes from something outside of you, it's going to not last forever. But if your motivation comes from something within you, that's going to last forever. How is it? I'm going to tell you the secret. Just stay with me for next 20 minutes and find it out. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, so real peace is a state of heart or consciousness. The more we are attached to things which don't change, the more we will be peaceful when things around us change. A lot of things around you change, but what won't change is the eternal principles, the eternal qualities. Qualities like service attitude, the qualities like honesty, integrity, the qualities like, desiring to benefit somebody, compassion, kindness. These qualities won't change. These are eternal principles. If you hook on to them, then there is a possibility for you to go through all the challenges in life. Okay, let me teach you further. How do you define motivation? How do you define motivation? Let's see. This is from a dictionary. I've taken this definition. The dictionary, Oxford, I think, says that motivation is a factor or circumstance that induces a person to act in a particular way. Okay, it's a factor. It's a something which propels you towards some action. Okay, this is from Oxford. My definition, which is more practical, which is more easier to relate with, I define motivation as fuel which drives us to work or achieve something in life. I call motivation like a fuel. It's a necessary fuel. Once this fuel is over, then what will happen? We will be stuck up. Okay, we will not be able to do things. We will not be able to go ahead in life. Right? So therefore, it's a fuel which drives us to work or achieve something in life. So there can be two types of fuel in my definition. There can be fuel which is externally, like you go to a petrol pump and you go to a petrol pump and there, what do? You fill your car or your vehicle, right? You get it filled. But what happens with that? That fuel is going to get over after some time, isn't it? Because it's taken from something outside. So that is something external fuel. I'm going to define this a little more. Just give me some time. Just let me relate with that analogy which I'm telling. There can be second type of fuel, which is self-manufactured fuel. Imagine a car with an engine, with a system, such that as the car is moving ahead, it is generating its own fuel inside. The more the car goes ahead, the more the fuel is produced. If you can have this kind of a car, what will happen? The fuel will never get over. The present model of the cars which we have is that the fuel is taken from outside. So therefore, when the fuel is taken from outside, it will get over, and you have to again go to some petrol pump or diesel or whatever your fuel is, and you again have to pump it again, right? And in case if you don't find it, it's again difficult. So many times I've seen students behaving like this. They see some motivational video, or they read some book, or they do something to get motivated, and they get motivated for a while. After that, what happens? After that, again zero, finished. Fuel is over, and then again they have to pump back. Somewhere motivation I have to get. That's not the motivation I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you much more internal way of motivating yourself. A system by which the car, imagine the car is moving, and along with the movement of the car, it is producing its own fuel. Then your fuel will never get over. The more you propel the car, the more your fuel is increasing. That's an amazing system, and that is what I'm going to talk about. Endless motivation. Things motivating us, but there will be one or two prime motivators in our life. That's what we're going to talk about. The motivation in life. There can be various factors which can motivate. Some factors are those motivators which are only going to last for short time. such motivators do not help us to continue motivation for long. I'm going to show you that. And there are other motivators which help us to remain motivated for a very long time and probably endlessly also. That's what we're going to talk about. And let's see on my screen here. Yeah. Motivation is the answer to question why, and you can change the why for what you do. The question, if you answer the question, why do you do what you do? That's the meaning of the motivation. So, and an amazing thing is you can change your motivation factor. You can change the motivation which you're receiving. It's not that you have to remain stuck up with the old motivators which are motivating you, or probably which are not motivating you at present. You can change. You can make a change in your motivation. That's the reason I'm speaking to you. If you hear my speech for further 10 minutes, you're going to probably understand certain mistakes you are doing in your life. And you're also going to understand how to not make those mistakes in life. So dear friends, it is not that motivating factors remain continuous. No, it's not like that. What happens is, you can change your motivation with your thought process. You remember sometime before I talked about the inner peace. Real peace is not coming from outside. Real peace is something within. So if your motivating factors you can change, you will be much more peaceful. You will feel much more in control of your life, and you will have endless motivation. That means you can make a change in your life. And that is what I'm now going to reveal to you. Please hear this very attentively. It's just going to take me a very short time. But if you hear this part of my speech very attentively, it probably can give you a great change of life, which will be so amazing and so wonderful. And this is why I'm wanting to speak this to you. Let's see. Okay. There are two types of motivators or motivations here. Friends, this is not my research. This is research done by Dr. Edward Deckay and Richard Ryan. And they have done decades of research and finally concluded that there can be two types of motivations, extrinsic and intrinsic. Let me show you what is it. Extrinsic motivation is that which is motivated for some external award or to avoid some external punishment. If you are working or if you are studying to get a reward or to get some success or to get some money or to get something outside of you, that's when you are called as extrinsically motivated. Whereas intrinsic motivation is to perform an activity not for the sake of rewards, but for something other than the rewards, for some sort of satisfaction which you are feeling, for some sort of inner drive which you have, for a purpose which you are wanting to achieve, right? Which is not in terms of your money or fame, etc. Right? Some internal purpose you want to achieve. That is when you are called as intrinsically motivated. Let me give you an example here. Just like these two children are playing, right? Let us call them A and B. So A is playing with extrinsic motivation of wanting to get the first prize. So therefore his motivation is called as extrinsic. Whereas B is also playing, but B is playing for the sake of the happiness which he is getting from playing, and he wants to become better and better at it, right? So he wants to become better at playing. He wants to, have that inner satisfaction that he could play the game very nicely, not necessarily for the sake of prize, but for the sake of becoming better and better or whatever he's playing. That is called as intrinsically motivated. And study has found out that out of these two types of motivation, this is a well-documented research, dear friends, what I'm going to tell you. This is not my speculation. This is a well-documented research. I request you, if you want, you can see this. Dr. Deckay and Dr. Ryan have written many, many books about this. I have also written in my time management book about this research in great details. So research says that those who are intrinsically motivated have better chances that their motivation will last for a very long time. Whereas those who are extrinsically motivated for some money, for some success in life, for some external achievement in life, their motivation dies off very soon. This is not my study. This is the study of the Dr. Richard, and it is a well-established fact. Okay. So here I want to add something just before I go ahead. I want to tell you my experience of being with people. I want to tell you my experience of studying the various Indian wisdom literatures. Dear friends, I want to tell you this, especially in the Indian wisdom tradition, this India, Bharat Varsh, which we are coming in, extrinsic achievements in life were not considered as important as your value system in life. The purpose for which you are doing or for which you are living was considered more important than the external facilities which you are having in life. For example, you might be just a poor man, but if you are honest, if you have very strong character, people would consider that as great happiness and satisfaction, rather than earning a lot of money with dishonest means and somehow doing some bickery or cheating or something, and then getting some money and having some huge bungalow or etc. So they would not want such a situation, right? They would want a situation where you will be so satisfied and happy in life, rather than merely getting some means of pleasure in life, but in doing so losing your own character, etc. Right? So therefore, Indian tradition was always driving people towards intrinsic motivation, not towards extrinsic motivation. Right? I'm going to tell you, I have done this by study in my book, and I'm going to show to you 8 external motivation factors in your life, which in general a student has, which you should avoid. And I'm going to show you 4 intrinsic motivating factors which you can increase in your life. See, you can make a change. That's the reason I'm talking this to you. Okay, let's see further. Extrinsic motivators. Let us see what are they. Here is that. Fear of parents. If you are studying or if you are opting for a particular branch because of the fear of your parents, because your parents are pushing you, hey, Khurana ji ka ladka, has gone abroad, Verma ji ki beti, she has gone done this one, that one. Hey, why are you not doing? So you are under pressure, and that's why you are doing something. Then that is not the right motivation. It won't last for long. Fear of teachers. Sometimes the teachers are pressurizing, hey, come on, if you don't study, you're not going to get a job, man. So they're after you, and they're putting deadlines and outlines and live lives or whatever. And you are somehow pressurized to study. That's not going to work for long. Peer pressure. Sometimes there are friends who are telling you, hey, come on, COVID has come. If we do not do something about it, if we don't study, you're going to be miserable. There's not going to be a job. And people are talking about peer pressure is building up, and that's why you're doing something. It is an extrinsic motivator. It will last only for a short time. Controlled study environment. So if you have, all the time schedule is fixed, somebody is all the time monitoring you, watching you, your parents in the morning, in the evening, some tutor is coming and, looking at you. It's not going to last for long. That kind of motivation is not going to last for long. Too much challenge to handle. See, challenges are good. I'm not talking about challenges are bad. I'm talking about too much challenge, which is making you crazy, which is making you get stress in life. That's not going to last. That's not going to be a motivator which is going to last for long. Desire for money and comforts. Here, dear friends, is something which most students make a mistake, right? And I don't want you to make this mistake further. Desire for money and comforts in life is not wrong, dear friends. But to have that as the main motivating factor is something which can make your life have a very bad experience. Because sometimes you'll get money, sometimes you'll get comforts, but about the rest of the time, you'll always keep feeling insufficient and again demotivated to study. If the job, maybe I'm not going to get a job, so okay, let me not study well. I'm insecure. I am studying, but I'm not sure what is going to be the outcome. I don't know whether I'll get job this time, or at least maybe not as much good job as my last batch. So these are not the right reasons to actually do anything in life. So you can have right reasons. I'm going to show you the right reasons or right purposes. I am not saying here that money and comforts are not needed in life. See, dear friends, this is the biggest problem which many youngsters face. That as soon as you tell them that money and comforts are not what you should chase, they start feeling, acha, so how will we live? See, I'll give you a simple analogy. All of us need oxygen to live, right? All of us need oxygen to live. But the only purpose of living is not to breathe or to have to take oxygen inside, is it? We all need oxygen to live. We all need to breathe to live. But does not mean that we are living for breathing. We are breathing to live, but we are not living for breathing. After breathing, we want to do some action and some purpose. We have some purpose in life. Similarly, we all need money for living. We need to earn money for living, but does not mean our living is for earning money. I am living only for the only purpose of earning money or getting some comforts in life. No. Once you get the money, you have something to do with that money. You have some purpose to achieve with that money, right? So that's what I'm talking about. You can change your motivation. Look at the higher factors of life. Why do you need money? Why do you need money? Because of some purpose in life. Chase at that purpose. May not be that money is always necessary for purposes of life, or not always as much as you feel you need it, right? So therefore, chase the higher purposes of life, not the small things that, just like, you don't keep consciously thinking that I need oxygen. You just breathe. Similarly, we need money, and therefore we'll earn money. Nobody is saying that you are going to stop earning. But that's not the reason. That's not the motivation behind working, behind studying, right? I tell this: if you focus on learning and becoming expert at your field, money will just fall at your feet. I'm telling you this. You can ask your professors. You can ask anybody who is at a very good, height, has achieved good success. They don't chase after money. They chase after how to become better and better in their, whatever they are doing. And there can be other factors I'm going to show you. Okay, let's see. So, desire for money and comforts is wrong motivator. It's going to demotivate you. So if you're worrying about job placement all the time, if that's your motivation to do anything, it's going to be a lot of trouble. And therefore, I believe COVID has opened up eyes of everybody, and they're learning about what is the right motivations in life. What is the right motivator in life, right? So it's good. So another is desire for prestige. Some people work because they want to be famous. That's again a problem, because whether you will be famous or you will not be famous is not in your hand. What is in your hand is to honestly, sincerely work or study, whatever you are doing, right? You can study very honestly, you can study very sincerely, and you can learn the subject, and you can be a subject matter expert. All this is in your hand. What is not in your hand is how much famous you will become. And believe me, just focus on studying, learning, equipping yourself with the right tools, and you all will get the best in life which you can, right? Yeah. So now I'm going to talk. So these are the list of 7 wrong motivators in life, and now this will give you the last part of my presentation, which is the 4 or 5 intrinsic motivators. So when you study because you have interest in subjects, so nowadays education policies have changed, and you can choose the subjects which you want to study, which is very, very good. So you can choose a subject which you want to study, which you have interest in, and then, oh my God, you'll be so motivated to do that. Then some of you told this, and I'm so happy. I think because you are at your home, so you are getting such goals, and I'm so happy about that. Right? So duty towards parents or other family members is also a good motivator, that you want to make their life more happy. You want them to be proud of you. You want them to be thankful. You want to do something in return for what they have done. This is not an extrinsic motivator. See, here this is extrinsic, fear of parents. It's not fear of parents which I'm talking about. It's love for parents, duty towards parents, which I'm talking about, right? This is second type. Third type is duty towards society, that I want to serve the society. I want to serve the nation. I want to remove some problem from the nation. Most of the inventions in this world have been to remove some problems of humanity. Dear students, look at the history. How did we discover so many medicines? How did we discover a bulb? How did we discover the airplanes? So many of the inventions have happened because they wanted to remove some problems from the people's life. And that is why they were so motivated despite failures, despite troubles, despite difficulties, etc. Right? So this is what is a very good motivator actually. If you're an engineer, you have so much of good opportunities in life, If you could have this kind of a motivator, I want to give back something to society. I want to do something to remove certain problem of life, people. Wow, you will never say no in life, towards any uncertainties, any problems. You'll just go ahead and ahead because you're intrinsically motivated, or to desire to serve God and all His children. Like this is what our Indian Vedas have taught us. That Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. If you ever heard this phrase, this is a Sanskrit phrase which talks about intrinsic motivation. It says, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. What does it mean? It means that this world is the family of all the children of God. So, just like in a family, you would like to serve your parents, your brothers, your sister, your mother, whatever. Similarly, if we have that feeling of brotherhood and sisterhood for all the people of the world, including the animals, including the trees, including the nature, right? Everything belongs to God, and I'm a family member of all this, what is around me. Then you would not want to spoil the resources. You will not want to harm anybody. You will try to bring out the best from your side, some contribution to the world, right? That is what, just like a tree offers a flower, a tree offers a fruit. you as a human being would want to offer something to this world in return to what you have received from this world, right? That is what Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam actually is. Huh? So this is also a very strong motivator. You can see most of the people, like for example, Srinivas Ramanujan, who was Srirangam temple, South India, would think about the mathematics equations, and this would propel him from within. That God is almighty, God is great, and I want to offer something from my side to this creation of God. And he offered definitely so many mathematical formulas and equations, etc., right, from his side. So this is the intrinsic motivator in life. And this is what is going to bring you inner peace in life. Till the time you are simply chasing something outside of you, you are never going to be at peace, dear friend. Please hear this very attentively. I just request you. We don't have much time. I'm going to end now, but this is something very, very meaningful for all of you. Please hear this. You are young in your life, and I speak to youngsters because I want to see a revolution, a change, a transformation in the society. I would like the whole society to live for more intrinsic reasons with inner peace in life. Not that we are chasing only something outside and we are creating mess in this world. When we are chasing something outside of us, believe me, you are always at unrest, as I told you in that story. But when you start working on your intrinsic motivation factors, I am telling you, every day of your life, as you study, as you work, you will feel so happy and satisfied. You will not be worried about, whether the COVID will go away or not, or whether the job will come or not, whether this one or that one. Extrinsic things don't matter so much to you. Why? Because internally you are working on the right purpose of life. Dear friends, please refine the right purpose of your actions. This is a teaching of all the Indian wisdom literatures. In summary, I have told you today. If you can, please work on changing your motivation from extrinsic to intrinsic. I can promise to you that your life will simply be such a beautiful offering to this whole world. Some of you are worried about whether will I get opportunities, and I promised you, you will have infinite, wonderful opportunities. I again conclude with this, that my dear friends, if you change from extrinsic to intrinsic motivation, I can promise you that you will have much more opportunities to advance, much more opportunities to be productive, much more opportunities to do something great in this world. I thank you all for your attention and your kindness that you gave me this opportunity today. I hope that this would help you. This is what I spoke to you. Change the purpose for which you do your actions. Change the attitude you have towards the life, and you can develop that intrinsic motivation which I'm talking about. With this, I end. Of course, this was a story I would have told you about Hanumanji, but I feel I just end over here because I've taken your enough time, and it's 12:40. So this is time over for me, and I'm happy and grateful for your kind presence today. I hope that this session was enjoyable by you, and I could teach you something by which you can have endless motivation. Thank you.